Hi everyone, so I'm back with another makeup detective video where I investigate trademarks from different brands and look at possible potential products that could be coming our way. First things first, I really want to thank everyone who enjoyed my last makeup detective video and who encouraged me to keep doing these and similar kind of things like this because I enjoy doing this so much. Research is one of my favorite things to do. So as I've mentioned before in other videos, if you have any recommendations or requests for videos, topics, things that involve a little bit more research like history of brands or products or anything, please let me know because I sometimes just need somewhere to start. So I was doing digging a few weeks ago and I think I'll leave some of that for another video because I was investigating some of the parent brands that were filing trademarks and some of them are very vague. And I was, especially when it comes to like drugstore brands, so you have parent companies like L'Oreal and like Estee Lauder and like the big guys filing for the companies that they own. So maybe that might be a separate video because today I uncovered what may or may not be JLo's Beauty brand. So this came to me today. I just thought about searching for some brands because I was having a little bit of a hard time. A lot of people requested brands that don't file trademarks or file very few. In the cases of a lot of indie brands, smaller brands, they don't tend to trademark things. There's also some brands that just use very generic terms with their products, so you don't have unique things that they can trademark. You're not going to see a trademark for an eyeshadow palette called Glam. You know, it's not narrow enough, not specific enough to one particular brand to be able to copyright like a term like that or trademark a term like that. So I thought about investigating celebrity makeup brands because I did a search for Rare Beauty and kind of saw that all that stuff had kind of been there for a while, and I was like, wow, this was kind of out there. We could have discussed this, whether or not we would have thought of the same concepts that ended up being released from Selena Gomez's brand. It still might have been a fun thing to talk about. So I did a little Google search and I was like, are there any celebrities who have said that they are coming out with a makeup brand or some sort of beauty brand? And the person that caught my eye was JLo because JLo is a person who, I mean, who doesn't love JLo? JLo, for me, like, I feel like I was the right age when, like, it was JLo phenomena frenzy. She was definitely somebody that I thought was the coolest person when I was like in high school, like junior high-ish. She just had such a cool style. She always looked amazing. And yeah, she had that JLO glow and everybody was always trying to get that JLO glow. I remember all the magazines I would read at the time, the teen magazines and occasionally like the women's fashion magazines. They would always be talking about JLo's glow and how you could get her glow. And I feel like she's a natural kind of person to have a beauty line, which I think will be more like beauty and skincare and potentially target like an older audience as well as also captivate like the younger audience, because I feel like JLo's kind of eternal. Like she just has that eternal beauty. She's just unreal. And anyway, I did some digging and I found like a few of the articles had listed how she had trademarked JLO Beauty. So there's usually a few different holding companies and I don't know too much of the ins and outs, but I do know sometimes things get trademarked by different companies and sometimes there might be a different company that owns something, or it might be a company that they are just using to make the trademarks. That's one of the difficult things when you're doing the trademark searching, is sometimes you kind of have to work backwards. Like sometimes I'll be typing in a product that already exists or had existed in the past that's pretty unique in order to find out who had filed the trademark and then go back and dig through that company's history to see if they had anything new. So there's a little bit of fun there, but I enjoy that stuff. So anyway, I found that there was a company called Ascendant Beauty, and they have about 10 trademarks. They're all really recent. The oldest one is from earlier in 2020, and there's now a concrete proof that this is tied to JLo's brand. But there's a few little hints in there and a few things that really make me think that it is. So I thought this would be fun to share. Remember, this is all speculative. I don't know anything other than what I'm showing and telling you guys. I just thought this would be a fun thing to talk about. And then I'll end talking about a couple more Natasha ones I found and a Pat McGrath one. And then I'll save like the drugstore and like the ones that kind of fall under the umbrella brands for maybe another video. So I can do a couple more of these because they're so much fun. So anyway, we have Ascendant Beauty, which has first trademarked J-List. So that was sort of like my first hint, because J-List, I mean, it could be relevant to JLO. It wasn't specific about makeup. This trademark was for marketing services. So this seems to be something that would relate to retail stores as it's specified in the trademark. I'm not quite sure how that would go. I guess time will tell. This is definitely a brand that is potentially coming. I don't know if Ascendant Beauty would be its own thing. Like JLO Beauty was trademarked, so it makes sense that that's what the name would be, but maybe this is like an umbrella underneath JLO Beauty, or maybe it's its own separate thing. I'll get to, there's a really obvious one in here. When I get to that one, I think you'll really see why I suspect so highly that this is for JLO's brand. So I'm gonna go through, I have everything on my phone because I made a quick little list today of these things. So we have Beauty has no expiration date. So this is a general trademark. So sometimes trademarks are really specific. Like they are a trademark for one specific category. That can make it easier to trademark something if it's more of like a broad term or something that other people might have used in different ways before. But Beauty has no expiration date. It's just a general one that's supposed to cover kind of all aspects of skincare and cosmetics. It makes me think it's more like a tagline. So Beauty has no expiration date. Now, these may not see the light of day, but Beauty has no expiration date kind of makes sense. You know, like I said, JLO is kind of ageless, eternal. But I do feel like, you know, there still is that stigma. When you hit a certain age, people expect that you are going to look different, that you are going to, you know, wear different makeup and wear different clothes, and there's been more of a pushback against that recently. It's like you don't stop existing when you hit 40, you know, you don't stop existing when you hit 50 or 60 or 70 or 80 or 90 or whatever, right? You know, you don't stop existing and you don't stop being beautiful. So I really like that as a tagline. I don't really see that being a particular product. It just seems too long to be a specific product, which is why I think it's a tagline. The next thing is called That Inner Love, and that is supplements. Only trademarked for supplements, which, I mean, some of the products or these headlines have to do specifically with skincare, and some of them are more general, which makes me think that they would be the mix between skincare and makeup, which totally makes sense. I could absolutely see JLO's brand being probably like 60 or 70 skincare with cosmetics and kind of slowly add the cosmetics as opposed to being like a purely cosmetic focused brand. So supplements makes me kind of question that, you know. I'm not really keen on beauty brand supplements, but that's just what it said the trademark was going to be, so who knows. The next thing is that star filter. So this again is a general cosmetic skincare trademark. To me, this would make sense as a makeup product. Now, I think, of course, because of the Hollywood Flawless filter. So I think because of the word filter, I'm thinking of Charlotte Tilbury in that product. But it could make sense that it would be something similar to that, that would give you that filtered effect. So I don't think it would be a foundation necessarily. It could be some sort of primer or some kind of combination product. I wouldn't be surprised to see more like a tinted moisturizer or like BB cream or something like that from JLO's brand, as opposed to like a straight up traditional line of foundation, but that's just my opinion. So the star filter could be a primer. It could be something that would give a little bit of that sort of on camera kind of glow. But then the next one is called That JLO Glow. So this is exactly why I believe this is JLO's brand. I think it would be really difficult, impossible even, to trademark something with the word JLO in it if JLO herself was not involved. This could end up being quite an issue, because you can't imagine just like a random company who has no affiliation with JLO trademarking a product called That JLO Glow. So this is another general cosmetics, skincare sort of trademark, but this would make sense to be like a liquid I'm saying liquid because I don't see a lot of brands coming out with a lot of powder products. I think the trend right now is more cream, liquid. When it comes to like highlighters and even blushes are more like stick form, or we're getting more like gel creams, you know, like there's differences in formulas. So for me, I think that JLO Glow would be a product that is comes in a bunch of different shades. I can see something that you could use for highlighting, but also something that'd be more like a bronzer kind of color with that shimmer, because like that's what I think of when I think of JLo. Like I think of like her perfume ads from like 2002 when she's like super glowy and bronzed, and I could see a whole line of that JLo Glow with different, you know, shades for different skin tones. Then there's that limitless glow. So the limitless glow with that JLo Glow, I think that there could be one that is a specific highlighter product, and then one is more tailored towards like bronzy. So it's quite possible that that JLo Glow could be various shades of like that bronzy sort of lit from within kind of thing, and that limitless glow could be more like a shades of highlighter. I think that could be a potential option, because again, this is a general trademark, so it doesn't specify what it's for, but I definitely say with the word glow in it, it's probably going to be more along the cosmetic angle. Then there's that blockbuster. So this is another general trademark. I'm not quite sure where this could be, because I think there's a lot of options. So that blockbuster makes sense as a name for a product. And I mean, when I think of JLo, she kind of does it all, right? So she definitely has blockbuster hits, and she does the singing, and she does the acting, and she does it all. So that blockbuster feels to me like it should be like a real show-stopping product. Whether or not that's a huge line of something, again, for some reason, I don't feel like we would see a massive, like 40 foundation kind of range or something, but I could be totally wrong. This could be something more like an eyeshadow palette. So blockbuster could be like a big palette. JLo has teased her upcoming beauty brand on Instagram a couple of times, and she worked with a makeup artist, Mary Phillips, who was also kind of teasing it, and the makeup was very glowy. And it's hard to tell with those kind of promo photos, because obviously she could do complete just only complexion products and not do like lips or eyes, or there could be things that are going to be within the line that haven't been trademarked, right? So it could be an eyeshadow palette. I saw some like beautiful sort of like gray colors, and I just like silvers, and I think that would be really cool. Like a whole play on like silver screen. So I could see a palette with shade names relating to the movie she's done, maybe with certain quotes or plays off of certain titles. And then of course with her songs, there is an endless catalog to use there for inspiration. But that's what I would be leaning towards as to what that blockbuster would be. The next product is specifically related to skincare. It's called That Hit Single, and it's being trademarked as a facial cleanser. So again, the name totally makes sense to me. As a facial cleanser, maybe there'd be a couple of different versions of it. Maybe it would just be one all around, you know, good facial cleanser, makeup remover. The next thing is called That Fresh Take, which is being trademarked specifically as an under eye moisturizer, which I think is pretty cool, and JLo looks phenomenal. So I'd be very curious to know what that kind of under eye moisturizer was like. And then the last one is called That Big Screen, and that is also a general trademark. So it could be something similar to that blockbuster. It's like the blockbuster seems like it would be like a big hit product, and that big screen kind of seems like it could be something similar. But again, maybe these are just product kind of headings with other things underneath them. So there's so many possibilities with all these names, and I'm only just guessing here based on what the names make me think of. But that big screen could, if the blockbuster is not eyeshadow, it's probably some sort of face product, something that should kind of really be a wow, which would make that big screen sort of a little tame in comparison. So it could be like a neutral eyeshadow palette, again, with sort of similar sort of shade names. I just think that there's so much from JLo's catalog that could be used for really inspiring names, and I'm not sure how that trademark process would work with stuff that she would in theory already own the rights to. So it'd be really fun to see, and I really want to see what this ends up being. If it's not related to JLo's brand, what is it related to? Because I mean, the JLO Glow is what sells it for me as being related to JLo, but who knows? There really is, you know, no definite way of telling until some of these products come out, or there's, you know, a little bit more information given. But I just wanted to share some of my theories because I haven't seen anybody else talk about this, and I thought that it would be fun to talk about it and see, you know, do you agree with me? Do you think this might be JLo's brand? What do you think these products might be? Are you excited for it? Do you not care? I'm just curious. So I have a couple of Natasha trademarks to talk about. I had more, but I don't have my full list in front of me. And there was one really recent one, which is a Love Cheek Duo, cream, blush, and highlighter. So Natasha has been releasing these face palettes that have one cream highlighter, one cream blush, and then like a powder highlighter and a powder blush. And I think it would be really cool to see duos of just the cream products, especially because, as I talked about in my last trademark video, she's supposed to be coming out with those puff paints, those like serum blushes. And I think that there really is a need and a want for a lot more cream products, and offering that as a individual option, because she does have the duos of the powder products. I think that would be really cool. And I found another trademark for another eyeshadow palette, and this is the Jubilee palette. And this I have some theories about. I think we might actually see this year. Now there's a few trademarks, but again, it doesn't mean that we're going to see those things. I really do think we'll see the mini xenon, because we saw that seems already packaged and ready to go. When it's going to come out, who knows? Like the glam palette was a huge surprise, but it makes sense with the success of the mini glam, which means I think, you know, we could see a retro palette, a full-size retro palette, as I talked about before. But I think the mini xenon will come, and then the full-size xenon probably later, but it will depend on, you know, how popular that is. And there was the trademark for the Zendo palette, but who's to say when that is coming, if that is coming at all. Jubilee is interesting. It's an interesting word. Jubilees mean like celebration, and usually something very specific, usually like a 25 anniversary or a 50 anniversary. That's usually like when you hear most about people using the word Jubilee. Well, according to Natasha Denona's website, she was born in 1970, which would mean this year would be her 50th birthday. That's quite a jubilee, so that absolutely makes sense. Now, also on her website, she says that she's been in the makeup industry for more than 20 years. Generally, when these things are being described, you kind of go in 5-year increments. So if you've been in the makeup industry for more than 20 years, but less than 25, you would say more than 20. But if you've been in for 25 plus years, that's usually how you would phrase it, until you got to 30, etc. So because on the website it says 20 plus, I just kind of pieced together the details from what I read on her website. This could very well mark 25 years in the makeup industry. So 50th birthday, 25 years in the makeup industry, a Jubilee palette seems perfect. It also seems, because it's sort of festive, it would be a really cool idea for holiday. When I did my Natasha Denona fantasy palettes eons ago, one of the palettes I was really excited to design was like a holiday palette, and I called it the Gala palette. And Jubilee was one of my working names for the palette, with just like these rich sort of jewel tones and something very festive. Now, Jubilee, I think you could see sort of silver and gold. Now, I feel like she kind of did a lighter version of that with the glam. I feel like a Jubilee would really be a celebration palette, and I feel like it would be bold. I feel like it kind of has to be bold. And I feel like if you mixed kind of metals, so to speak, and you had the silvers and you had the gold, and you really had that stark kind of difference between the warm and cool tones, I think it would be really cool, because I think Natasha could pull that off. So anyway, I'm very excited to see what that palette ends up looking like, and I think it's going to be something very special and very festive. That's the impression that I get anyway, and I kind of hope it comes this year. Although it's a recent trademark, so it may not, but you never know. And lastly, I wanted to talk about Pat McGrath. So Pat McGrath doesn't trademark a whole lot. A lot of people were requesting me to look into Pat McGrath. One thing I noticed that she trademarked, or has submitted 2 trademarks. Like, some of these are very new, and they're like in the early stages of going through the trademarking process, so they could run into issues. One of the most recent things that Pat McGrath trademarked is a phrase, and it's opulence, you own everything. So if you're a fan of RuPaul's Drag Race, you've definitely heard this used before. It became a minor meme sensation as well back in season 11, but the phrase originates from Paris is Burning, and it's a fantastic drag documentary, and it's, if you are interested in the world of drag at all, definitely watch it. It's available on a lot of streaming platforms, but that's where that phrase originates from. So when I first saw it, my first thought was like, I don't know how she could trademark this. And now it's very early in the trademark filing stages. She may not be able to trademark it for cosmetic use. She has used it. Like when I did a Google search just with that phrase and Pat McGrath, and I saw like the times that she had used it on like Twitter and Instagram and stuff, like in her captions, it would be really fantastic if she did some sort of ode to drag collection, like referencing Paris is Burning and referencing, you know, how iconic drag makeup is and how much inspiration so many makeup artists and so many people have gotten from drag and from that art alone. So if anybody was going to do it, and then if anybody was going to do it well, it would be Pat McGrath. I just don't know what the logistics are in terms of actually trademarking it, but if she was going that route with sort of a tribute kind of collection, like, it would be one of the most perfect things. I think Pat McGrath does everything amazingly, and I think that she would be the best person to do a collection sort of dedicated to the art of drag. So anyway, those are the trademarks I wanted to talk about right now. Let me know if there are other brands you would like me to look into specifically. If I will do my best. Just keep in mind that indie brands don't tend to trademark things. It's really the bigger brands. But if you'd be interested in like a drugstore version of these trademarks, it's a little bit different because not everything does get trademarked, and it does tend to be the more expensive brands and products that are trademarked because they have the money, you know. But a lot of these big companies that own drugstore brands also have money. They just trademark things a little differently. So anyway, let me know what you would like to see, and definitely let me know your thoughts on these trademark names and phrases and what you think we might see from these things. I'm very, very curious to hear your opinions and your thoughts. Thank you so much for chatting with me about this. I hope you are having a wonderful day or night wherever you are, and I hope we get a chance to chat soon. Bye for now.